Hey everyone, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
First potty of 2024.
Yes, welcome. And we're jumping into the Tarawera stuff over the next month or so. We're going to be releasing content all geared towards Tarawera, course videos for each course. We're going to do Q&A type stuff, basically anything that you want, really.
Yeah, we're here to help you.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, stuff you want to know about Tarawera, the course, the event, anything like that, just drop in to just message us, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Strava now, you can message on Strava.
Oh yeah, that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that.
New thing. Which I think's actually good. Just hit us up, basically. Long story short.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about Tarawera 102K course, which is actually 104K this year.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about that.
We're just going to be going over the terrain and the aid stations.
Yes.
In a general
The course.
The course, what to expect along the way.
Yes. LSKD.
Yes. We
new CMF discount partner.
Yeah, very excited about this one. We got one of those messages in our inbox and on Instagram.
Random message from a company that we sometimes get.
Yeah. And we're like, they wanted to send us some shorts, and we're like, oh, what's the catch for this? Is this legit? And it turns out it is. And it turns out they did send us the shorts, which Kim, myself, and Chris have tried and love. And I've even met up with someone that works at LSKD in Australia, because they're more of the sort of gym fitness kind of traditionally, but they want to break in to the running community. And I know that they've actually just released a run collection just a few days ago, which I'm super keen to trial out. So they just seem like a really good company, actually. They seem very genuine. So we are pretty keen to work with them.
Yeah, cool. So we got you a CMF 15% members and client only discount. So we've added that to our ever-growing list of discount partners within the members only Facebook group. So you can find it there at the top of the group.
Yeah, all you need to do is simply join our membership.
Yeah, if you want to join our membership, $30 a year still. I think we are going to increase it at some stage very soon, but still $30 a year.
So yeah.
So you could be a founding member still. Yes. Join for $30 a year.
Awesome.
Sweet. So we'll get into this. That's all we think about today.
Yep. I think we'll get into
jumping into the course.
Yes.
Where should we start? 7:30 a.m.
Yep.
Saturday the 17th of February. That's when the 102 starts at Tarawera in Rotorua.
Right in town.
Right around here. So this is pretty sweet because traditionally the 102K course used to start starts in Kawerau, which is about 45 to 60 minute drive from Rotorua. Incidentally, where the miler is starting this year.
At 4 a.m.
At 4 a.m. Normally the 100 miler starts at Tarawera at 4 a.m. But this time the miler is starting at Kawerau. We're going to cover that course in a different video, but basically it goes around this sort of way, doesn't it? 4 a.m. Kawerau. Yeah, if you're doing the miler, I would recommend not taking the event bus.
Oh yes, yeah.
Don't take the event bus to the start line of the miler if you can help it.
Yeah, I almost think that your family members and your crew will be grateful to actually take you, because it will probably mean, instead of noise going off at 1:30 in the morning, it will be closer to 3.
Sure. Yeah, that's an early start. So or stay in Kawerau.
Yeah.
The night before. Right by the start line.
Yeah.
But catching the event bus for a 4 a.m., a 60-minute bus ride for a 4 a.m. start.
I'm sure we're going to say all this stuff again, when we do the miler video, just because it's just, it just makes it, I suppose, it just a little bit more spice, a little bit more eventful, harder.
You can't make it too easy, That's what I always say. you want to
Out there for a hard time, not a good time.
Yeah. So if you're a seasoned miler campaigner and you're coming back, and you've done the Tarawera miler a few times, and you want to, make it more challenging, then take the event bus.
Yes.
Make it harder for yourself,
Yeah.
all right?
Try stay up even.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
go
yeah.
to sleep.
Just don't go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then do it. Only if you're a seasoned campaigner, though. That's not training advice.
Yeah, that's sort of a joke anyway.
Banter advice.
Um,
So 7:30 a.m. Tapuia for the 100k. That's a very respectable and nice and easy time to start. You're going to be able to get to the start line within 15 minutes of wherever you're staying. There's plenty of parking at Tapuia, so it's easy for your crew to drop you off. So that's pretty cool. Interestingly enough, though, I'm not sure, because remember we were at the start line of the 50k last year. Oh, you did the 50k last year.
I did.
And spectators and support people weren't allowed.
Oh, that's right.
Weren't allowed inside Tapuia. So I'm not sure if that's the case this year. I haven't checked that out. It's just something that came to my mind just then. So yeah.
But that would have been because of the numbers thing, right?
Yeah.
Because
for sure.
Traditionally, like the miler, especially when you did it, would have had only about 300 participants, and whereas the 50k last year had
it's a lot, eh? Like
1,000 or something.
Yeah, something like that. Heaps.
So it's a big difference.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure what the case is there. I mean, just get them to drop you off. Just get your crew to drop you off.
Yeah, for sure. It's you'll have more
just
time.
Get into the day. Get into the buzz.
Yeah, it's almost like
it can be distracting, eh? Like having your support crew there like early in the morning.
Totally. Yeah, for me, start of the race, I'm not even really thinking about anything else except for like the race and myself. Like it's hard for me to even have a conversation. Like, even if I'm with clients, like right there, I actually cannot like really talk to them. And it's not because I'm being rude. It's because I'm like thinking about my race and like just getting into the the adrenaline and the nerves and all the excitement and all that kind of stuff sort of blocks me from having an in-depth conversation with the person. So my support, just because they're my support crew, my family, does not mean I'm gonna start suddenly talking to them heaps because they're in the at the start.
Yeah, and that time goes so fast, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Very start. Yeah, sweet. So if you run the 50k course before, which a lot of people would have, going into the 102. A lot of people, they go from the 50k one year, then into the 100k the next year.
Yeah.
You're going to get to run the 50k course again.
Yes,
basically, you can summarise the course in one sentence. You get to run the 50k course again, and you've got a 50k out and back.
That's pretty much
with a couple of extra k's thrown in.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So I suppose we're just pretty much going to be talking about this in two sections. Sort of.
Yeah.
We'll spend quite a bit of time talking about the out and back, considering that is 50 k's and has the most elevation, and so therefore is and it's in the middle of the race. So
for sure,
you've got 25 k's to get into it, 50 k's out and back, and 25 k's to bring it home. In a simple form.
Yeah, and in particular, you have this middle section here from the 40 odd k mark, 40 odd k to the 72 odd k mark. So it's like a 32 odd k section where you've got, like Charlotte said, a lot of the elevation gain and losses in that section. Key part of the race. It's in the middle of the day. It's probably going to be the hottest as well. That kind of thing. That's a key area of the race for me, and and like in terms of preparing our athletes for it, that's a key sort of part of the event, the race.
Since it's early on in this podcast, we've got everyone's attention still. Do you think we should just like dive straight into this section of the race?
We can do, yeah. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess the out and back. We might as well just talk about the out and back section. So that's from the 32-ish K mark. Almost, 32, 33k mark. You can see the red dot here on the map. It's just as you sort of hit the blue lake, Tikitapu, which is just above the blue dot. The lake below the green, the red dot. Sorry, the lake below the red dot is Green Lake, Rotokahi.
So after you've kind of like skimmed around the blue lake, you're going to go through Tenet's track.
Yep.
Which is Tenet's track is...
Zoom right in here.
It's not a long track, but it is quite a technical track. Obviously, it's going to be like quite heavily marked. I have definitely got lost in this section quite a few times.
So it's just after you've run around Blue Lake here and you cross the road, you just down this section here is like a bit of a gravel road kind of thing alongside the road, alongside Tarawera Road, isn't it? And then you cross the road, and then you can see here, I'll zoom in, you're popping into Tenet's track.
Yeah, so Tenet's is just sort of undulating, dense kind of bush. Rooty. Yeah, it's kind of like not your traditional like Rotorua trail kind of terrain.
But semi-technical, isn't it?
Yeah. So you'll be doing it out and back along here.
It's a beautiful bit of native bush too.
It is.
I mean, it'll be relatively easy going through it the first time. Coming back through it the second time will be a bit more work, on a bit more tired legs. Yeah,
for sure. You definitely should be feeling good the first time you go through here. Otherwise, you're going to be in for some serious trouble.
For a long day.
Yeah.
But it's only about 1.5 km, isn't it, I believe? About that. So it's not long.
Not long.
You can see it running alongside Okataina Loop Road here. Just runs alongside the road and then pops out here.
It's kind of like a trail that would be good if you've done a bit of strength work to be able to lift up your legs a bit higher than you were if you're on just like forestry road. And yeah, it's just part of the trail, part of the course. So,
pay attention to the course markings through there.
Yes.
And all the time.
Yeah, definitely good. Definitely good. Yeah. We had a few clients last year go off course.
Yeah, with the nature of the course last year, and I guess that will be a thing to look out for this year too, with the sort of, with this 50k out and back section, there'd be a lot of distractions, because, if you're running out towards Okataina, then you're going to be having the front runners come back the way, and so, yeah, but a few more distractions there.
Yeah, for sure. You just have to remember to be polite and vibe off their energy. But like
don't get too carried away.
Yeah, don't be like, oh my god, can I get your signature please? You try to sign my shirt.
Or can I run like you?
Yeah.
Start running hard.
Yeah. For sure. Anyway,
so yeah, once you pop out at Tenet's here, we're onto the road. There's a road section. You sort of going around the Okataina community. Couple of roads here, then you sort of steep street, a couple of little like sharp up and downhill kind of little pinches, little steep pinches. Then you drop down into Boys Beach here. You'll just be running through people going about their day. Like if it's a nice sunny day, you'll just see a lot of people going about their day with their families, swimming in the lake here, like that kind of thing. So that's kind of fun. And then you sort of get through some, this is all like, boardwalk. Then you get into some boardwalk kind of stuff around here. You end up at the Lake Okataina campsite, and that sort of brings you to this section here, isn't it? Which is this sort of key section here, this key sort of 32Ks we were talking about, sort of goes from here, where the red dot is here.
For sure, and
40 odd Ks into the race.
Yeah, and hopefully you've just like taken it like pretty easy, like up until here, and then you're going to get on some power hiking. This is a road that you do not really want to be running up.
Unless you're at the front of the field.
Yes, unless you're at the front of the field. And I think we've said this earlier in another podcast. Like, the top people, we may not be listening to this recording. It's an entirely different experience of this race. Just run hard if you run the 7 hours. But yeah, for the majority of people, it's just
this is walking.
Like it's just be so hard running up that. Anyway, even if you're just running up it in a training run, like it would be a thresholdy kind of session, almost. So yeah.
So this is the Miller Road Aid Station, which you pass through twice. So the first time is that. What is it?
Would it be 57? No.
Yeah, 42 odd Ks there. So basically from the Okataina campsite, this is what we're talking about. You got a road. It's like tar seal, and then onto gravel road, uphill. Can be a bit dusty if it's a dry summer's day. That gravel road can be a bit dusty, but there shouldn't be cars of. It's not accessible for like crew and that, but so you shouldn't have too much dust, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely one of those ones where you're sort of, if it's a hot day, you're out in the open, a bit dusty, and yeah, you're just kind of hiking up that hill.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Then you got the aid station. Yeah, and then after the aid station, you're basically popping into the Western Okataina trail, which goes all the way to Okataina and back. This is the Western Okataina trail here, all the way back. And it's got the little loop to the Okataina Aid Station. So it's a decent gap between those two stations, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just thinking in terms of this aid station, like the first one, is it quite a key aid station to
Did have it here, don't we?
to be going through? Will be the third one. So the first aid station...
Fourth aid station is Miller Road.
So the first aid station of the day is like 10 k's in, so that's not really a key aid station. So your first key one probably is the second, maybe, would you say? Second or third.
Well, in terms of like supplies and stuff, or
Well,
yeah, I mean the first few are like close together, really.
yeah.
That's kind of cruisy.
Okay. So the Miller Road one is 42 k's in, like we said. Is this like an aid station that you would think that people should stop and like make sure that they have quite a lot of supplies and, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, because you've got 14.5 k's from Miller to Okataina. So Okataina, this is actually a good little thing, actually. It's on the Tarawera site. You can see the, aid stations, how far they are apart, how far through the race they are, the name of the station. And then the ones, there's a little key up here, checkpoint with assistance permitted, which is basically, that's where your crew and support can get to, which really, I mean, there's Puringa, 10 k's in, which we were kind of talking about before. If it was me racing, there's no way I would send my crew to an aid station 10 k's into the race. Like, give them some time off. It's a long day for them too.
Yeah, for sure.
And you'll be so fresh. Like, a lot of people will literally just run through that aid station. You might just top up your bottle, like, or something like that, or maybe you've started with just one bottle. That's another thing. So you haven't started with 2 full bottles. You might have only started with 1, and then you might just want to, top up. You might only just top up that 1 bottle too, depending on how fast you are, obviously. You might only top that 1 bottle up between aid station 1 and 2, like that kind of way. That's possibly something I would do as a thing, like for those first few aid stations, actually.
Yeah, the aid station is spaced out pretty weirdly because you can't really go from aid station 2 to aid station 4 without stopping. Like, that's quite a long time.
Yeah.
It's like over 20 k's of like no stopping. So it's probably about being pretty quick through the first
2, definitely.
2. Yeah.
And then the third one, you got that 13k gap. So yeah, for me, I'd be filling up too, definitely making sure that I've got a couple of bottles full with my hydration mix and my water. And ready to go that longer distance. It'll be starting to heat up by then if it's a warm day. And you just got that extra distance to cover. Out in the open a bit as well.
Yeah, and just like at Miller Road, hills are good for like taking on like nutrition as well. Like walking and uphill and eating kind of go quite well together, opposed to like running fast and eating kind of doesn't. So, you've got quite a hilly section to come, so you definitely like want to be and like Miller Road is a road, right? So there's like requires not much concentration because it's like out in the open road, not technical.
It's an even surface.
Even surface, that's right. So opposed to like, when you get into Western Okataina, it's like single trail, requires a little bit more, concentration.
Yeah.
So, it's still good to, keep having your tailwind or more hydration, obviously, but you could do some more eating maybe on Miller Road.
For sure.
Like, your bars and whatnot.
Yeah, and it gives you time to sort of think about, as you're approaching Miller, gives you time to sort of think about what you're going to need at that aid station too, right? Like, as you're approaching, you're sort of going up the hill, approaching the Miller Aid Station, and ready for that next leg, which is whatever it was, 13, 14 and a half
Ks.
Yeah. So yeah, it just gives you a bit of time to think about what you're gonna refill here. So incidentally, I think it's worth mentioning now where your support crew can get to. And so yeah, it's just those 4 aid stations across the whole race. Puringa, like we said, I wouldn't worry about it. If it was me, it's a lot of, because they can only get there by bus, it would seem, organisation bus. That's a bit of hard work, especially if they're dropping you off, like at the start line.
For sure.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I gotta rush and get the bus.
yeah.
Stressful.
Yes.
Like 8 o'clock in the morning.
But they'll be hanging out to see you by the time that you run nearly 60 Ks.
Yeah.
There'll be, the vibe here will probably be pretty good.
Okataina is a major. Yep.
Yeah.
Major fun aid station.
Yes. It's the place you want to be if you're a spectator.
Yeah, it's an awesome place, like, just for them to hang out. Like, if it's a nice day, it's just a cool, like, they can just see the whole race come by them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
For sure. And obviously you still have to get there via bus. So make sure that your spectators, your crew have organised that. Organise the organisation bus.
Make sure they know where to go to. It's in Rotoiti where they catch the bus. Used to be at the rugby club, but probably still is. Haven't checked that out, but they catch the bus, the organisation bus from there, and you got to pre-buy your the ticket for them and all that kind of stuff. So
cool.
If you're planning on that, then get onto that now if you haven't done already.
For sure.
Most importantly, spare bag means drop bag. So you can drop a drop bag at Okataina, which I thoroughly recommend. Yes,
even if your crew are coming, like, have that spare bag, because who knows, you may be faster than you anticipated or your crew anticipated. Something might have happened to your crew.
Flat tire or something.
Yeah, who knows? Like, it's just, there was a huge wait for the bus.
Yeah, the bus, things can go wrong with the bus. Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. And it would just be like, that would just be a terrible situation if you got there and your crew weren't there and you had no, like, supplies.
Yeah, if you were relying on them to bring your special, like, XYZ or your change of shoes or, that special thing that you've been looking forward to, like, and they weren't there, it's a little bit derailing mentally, and it's not the sort of thing I like to rely on. The crew are there as like an extra uplift kind of thing. I think for me, I still like to be self-sufficient in terms of having that backup there. And the good thing is with the crew, they can actually pick up your drop bag too, I believe, certainly in the past anyway, they can take a tag for your drop bag and they can actually pick your drop bag up before you get there.
Awesome. So it's like,
so just check that out.
Yeah, so if they are there, it's less stuff that they have to bring anyway.
So it's less stress for them too.
Win-win for everyone. And we were sort of saying that so up until this point you may have had 2 soft flasks.
Yes.
And then for this next kind of like section, we thought that would be a good idea to have like 1 to 2 more soft flasks. We're not like personally like fans of bladders because it's hard to keep track of how much liquid you've actually drunk with bladders because it gets like kind of the weight gets lost in like the compulsory gear and things like that, whereas
sloshing around is annoying and they're a pain in the butt to get in and out the thing and fill up and all that kind of jazz. So our preference is to certainly if, like for me, if this was me going this from Okataina back to Miller, which is Aid Station 6, back to Miller again, I would definitely be putting I would have in my drop bag at Okataina 2 ready to go soft flasks. Probably I'd have them both filled with my tailwind, so then I could just pop 1 in the back and 1 in the front, and then I'd just fill my other 2 that I've had with me, which will probably be fairly well empty by the time I got to Okataina. I would just fill them up with water at the aid station, so then I'm good to go with 2 litres of water for that 18k section. Obviously you've got to do your own due diligence, on hopefully by now, as a result of your training, in different levels of heat, and you're doing simulation runs, you know roughly what you're going through for your hydration. You know roughly what you go through per hour. So it's a case of like kind of looking at this. I've got 18.2 Ks to travel. It's going to take me roughly this amount of hours. Therefore, I roughly go through this amount of fluid per hour, so it means I need this much for that section. So, do your own due diligence. Obviously, the further you are back in the pack, the longer it's going to take you. Therefore, the more supplies, food and hydration you're going to need to execute that part of the trail.
Sure.
And any part of the trail.
And also, like, at this aid station being probably the key aid station of the race, like, this might be where you do your, like, shoe change, your sock change, things can kind of, like, change with your feet, around the 60 to 70K mark. You may experience sort of like that blister that you don't normally get in your 50K runs and things like that. So make sure that you have like some feet management stuff here, especially if you're prone to it, or if you're a shoe changer. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're changing from like road shoes to trail shoes. It may just mean that you're changing trail shoes, because it's just like it just makes you feel good. It's like you're restarting the run, resetting. Also, like if you're obviously a really sweaty person, you may want to change your t-shirt, things like that. Can just make quite a bit of difference. Because 40Ks, obviously you're over halfway now, but 40Ks after running 60Ks is still a long way. And it's like the things that you can change, and making yourself feel like good by changing your outside circumstances can make your insides feel a bit better. I'm not saying that you should be getting here and you're feeling absolutely shit, but...
Well, it's just about little things you can do to make you feel better mentally, eh? And it's like, it's that part of the race, it's because you've got, as you're running towards Okataina, you know that your crew are going to be there, so it's an exciting thing that you're looking forward to. It's like, oh, cool, I get to see my family or my loved ones. They're going to be there, and so you're getting excited about seeing them there, and that's kind of gets you there, and then it's a nice mental driver. And then you know that when we get there, I'm gonna change my shoes and socks. I'm gonna just check out. I've got a little bit of a thing going on with my toe. I'm gonna sort that out. When we're there, I'm gonna cover it up and good to go again. I'm gonna put that nice fresh shirt on, or this shirt that means a lot to me. Probably your CMF shirt, eh?
Yeah.
Put that on, change into my favourite cap, like whatever it is to you. And then you like leave there like a new person.
Yes.
Yeah. And little things like that can be mentally and physically invigorating.
Yeah.
So that's very cool.
Will we be here?
Yes, I would imagine we would be there.
So you'll get to see us. That will be an added bonus.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing you there as well if we're there. We'll be super excited to see all of you.
I guess if we're not there, we'll be at Miller.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be around this sort of like this time of the course.
We'll either be at Miller or Okataina.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
access.
Yeah. This whole section, like from Boys Beach, right, is about 1,400 meters of elevation.
Yes. Oh, yes. We'll go into here. So actually got this on Strava.
So it's an out and back. And so there's a mixture of hills, obviously, and downhills. And with like the first downhill, it could be tempting to go quite fast down here. You're having fun, you're feeling good, all that kind of stuff. But err on the side of caution, like control run down, because you've got to go up the other side and then down again. And
it is steep, this. Yeah, it's about 3 Ks of quite a steep down. Quite a decent amount, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a long time.
It's 724
it's quite a long time.
At the top. Yeah, it's a few hundred meters. So yeah, it's a decent old downhill, quite steep. So yeah, definitely, like Charlotte said, running yeah, it would be tempting if you're feeling good and excited about your day to really bomb down it. But for me, and this would be like if I was racing this, it would be definitely that particular downhill would be something I'd definitely be erring on the side of caution with, just not to roast myself going down it, and just letting gravity do its thing. So you're not like putting the brakes on, letting gravity do its thing, but just not getting totally loose. Yeah.
For sure, and like this is a type of in a perfect scenario, like going to Rotorua and actually running this section of the trail is probably a really key like training section. But if you can't, and even actually not just doing the once, like this kind of thing is really good to practice in training, like in your week session, like hike up, run downs, and just because it's more about like conditioning on your legs than like fitness in a way, like so. Absolutely. Yeah. So like practicing it and also getting into the gym and doing like strength work, doing those squats, because ultimately like running downhill, you're just kind of squatting and running at the same time. So if you've got the conditioning on your legs from doing those squats and then also practicing it, like your rate of fatigue is going to be like way less, because you got to do it again. By the looks of it, obviously like over here, the downhill isn't so sharp, but you still have to go up that sharp hill. It's a bit more of a, still...
Yeah, it's a bit more down undulating on the other side when you're coming back, isn't it?
Yeah, like this kind of like downhill is just like, especially if you are good at downhills, is just super easy just to bomb down. And it's also just about looking after your knees as well, like you don't want to like blow out your knees just by like bombing down. So yeah, that's why that conditioning, if you've got conditioned legs, which hopefully you do because you've trained for this, things like your knees aren't going to be a problem, and your strength will help you down this hill.
Yeah, for sure.
And then on the flip side, your glutes from the gym, from your glute bridges and your hip thrusts, are going to help you power up the hill.
Yeah.
Squeeze that peach. Those glutes.
Squeeze that peach.
It's more like gym talk.
So yeah, then you got that climb on the other end. So you got the aid station and the climb. Incidentally, I'll just mention this as well. This is on my Strava. You can find me on Strava. Just search me up, Chris Lucas. There's my picture. And you can actually, this route is on my saved route, so you can actually access it and download it for yourself if you want to look at it, or go and do it. Put it on your watch and go and do it. This is an open part of the course.
Yes.
You can go and do it. Well, I believe that the education centre part is. I know someone else that has done the loop. You can definitely get as far as here anyway. Let's say that much.
Yeah. Well, they just did this a couple of days ago, so
yeah.
Unless something happens in the next day or two or before you do it, then it's open, right?
Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, certainly all of Western Okataina is open and doable.
Awesome, yeah.
So yeah, feel free to check out that route as well.
So
what else do we need to mention about this part? I guess we haven't really talked about the trail itself in between Miller and Okataina. It's a beautiful part of bush, isn't it?
Yeah.
Native bush, beautiful.
It's quite manicured now. It used to be like white, because bikes can go on it. Yeah. Could they go up it like when you did it? I don't think.
Possibly not, or maybe they could, but it wasn't very like doable. Unless you were quite advanced on a bike. But yeah, it is. Well, it was certainly last time I did it was quite runnable, and compared to like traditional years gone by sort of stuff.
This bit here, like, is quite windy, like those kind of, like, on bikes, how they kind of, like, go around the corner. I just remember, it's like you're sort of running on quite a camber, which is actually kind of fun. But remember to turn on your core through those kind of, that kind of terrain. It helps with everything.
So yeah, this is a beautiful part of the course. Beautiful native bush. You might see some wallabies too.
Yes.
Especially if you're like, if you're like a mid to rare sort of picker, or if you're a rare picker, I would say, and it's getting a bit darker or a bit later in the day, coming back the way, you'll likely see wallabies. If you get towards dusk and later on in the day, you see them popping out on the trail. Don't be alarmed by them.
Because like most, like sort of like our typical client that's doing it around like 15 hours. like they'll be here at like 8 hours in. No, 8, not 8.
Something like that. Yeah.
So 7:30.
Middle of the day, afternoon kind of time, eh?
So is that like
2ish?
Yes.
Yeah, 2, 3. Yeah.
So
a lot of people will be there sort of in the afternoon, that afternoon period, eh?
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else that we want to say about this section of the course? Oh, yes. Answering my own question.
Okay.
So, after the Okataina Aid Station, did I mention this? After the
I don't know.
Okataina Aid Station, you've seen your crew, you've done a thing, you've got, 18Ks. So there's a longer stint back to Miller Road. And that's because the aid station is at the education centre. And then after that, which is, at the start of when you sort of arrive down that way, and then after that you've got this sort of loop to go around.
I think this loop's about 6 k's.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, isn't it?
How did I figure this out? I think yeah, so we kind of touched on this before, like with the picking out those 2 extra soft flasks. This is why you need it, because 18 k's is sort of too long to go with having like 1 litre of fluid.
About 4 or 5 k's, that sort of loop from the aid station until when you get back onto the trail. Pretty flat too, which is cool.
Yeah, this is a section that neither of us have run much of.
Yeah, well, I've never been on this loop.
I probably haven't either.
We've been on this part here. I think that's the, but just not this. Not this part here. So we'll be down in Rotorua weekend of the 19th of Jan. Doing some group runs with some of the crew. So hopefully we'll capture some of that and hit us up if you want to come check it out too. I guess a key question as well is the sort of road shoe, trail shoe thing. That's sort of a key consideration for the course and sections of the course, but it's a bit tricky because of the aid station configuration, isn't it, of where the aid stations are and where you can have your drop bags and stuff, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a road section before Okataina and there's a road section afterwards, and then of course you have the sort of finish of the race too, which is that last sort of 6-7 k's is very sort of flat and runnable too. So how would you approach it?
I don't know, like it
depends on the weather, like, as well.
Yeah, I've done
obviously.
I did like 100k and 90k so far, and neither of them I took off my shoes at all.
Yeah, so I guess it depends on the
so
conditioning of your feet and all that.
Probably not the ideal person to ask that. I'm not a big fan of shoes like speed goats that are quite I don't like big shoes. I like quite low profile shoes. So the feeling of running on the road is probably the transition from road shoe to those kind of shoes is less than if you're going from running in speed goats, for example.
Or a gruntier sort of sole shoe.
So it just
for sure
depends on that, and
of course it depends on what you've trained in and simulated.
And time out there, I've got this weird thing. I don't want to stop to do that because I think that I'm wasting time. But am I it's what's that saying? I'm going to say stop time to make up time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep, spend some time to save some time. Yeah. So the theory is that fixing that issue on your foot that might take 5 minutes has the potential to save you half an hour of time later in the race. So that's a good sort of method of thinking around things like that. But I guess if it was me doing this, let's say it's a dry year, tough one, eh? Because you dry year, if it's fully dry, you can totally do this whole course in road shoes. I wouldn't go out doing it in my carbon fibers.
No, I wouldn't go rocking. Right. I have a pair of New Balance foil, whatever they are, and that would just be a terrible time.
Yeah. So when we say road shoes, we mean something like a solid road shoe, like a Clifton, a Hoka Clifton, or what's some other?
I reckon what about Saucony, the Kinvara?
Yes. They're
very light. I had a pair, and I did run some trails in Rotorua with them, and they're just light, sort of no fancy kind of sole as such, no rocker.
But yeah, speed goats in terms of trail shoes are a great all-rounder, shoe because the lugs, the sole, they aren't aggressive, and they're just a great cushion shoe. Great for downhills too. Great for downhills like this section, like these downhill sections, and these downhill road bits here after Miller. And they're good. They're fine on the road too. So things like that. If it was me, I think doing this 102, this course, I would either start in speed goats, or what I have at the moment is my Topo Ultra Ventures. I would start in those because they're like I call them the Topo version of the speed goats. They're sort of not a grunty but cushioned kind of trail shoe. I would start in those, and at Okataina, I would have like probably 2 options of shoes. Just as options, a road pair and another trail pair, and then we can just decide on the day.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're going to get to run back over the stuff, So as you're running out to Okataina, you can be like, oh man, I wish I had my road shoes on. Oh cool, I'm going to put them on Okataina. If you're going to put road shoes on for part of the race, it would definitely be after the Okataina bit for me. Because then you got more road running sections and boardwalk stuff and around Blue Lake even, and then post Blue Lake Aid Station you've got the stuff that's towards the end. So there's more opportunity to really utilise those shoes in that last 40 odd Ks of the race than there is in the first 60 odd. If that makes sense. Yeah,
and then just sort of like touching on like the first bit of the course, first 30 Ks, is it? Like
up to about here or here.
Yeah. So like the 50K course going around Mossy Loop and up the natives. Oh, also like
let's talk about this.
So obviously there is some hills in the first bit. Don't be disillusioned by the hill size on this profile because it's all to scale. Obviously not as big as the ones out in I always get this name wrong. Okataina. So there are some hills early on, including one. The first hill's about 3 Ks in, up to the trig.
There's one here.
It's definitely a hiking hill.
Yeah, it looks like nothing on this, but it is something.
Yes.
Yep. And you'll be super fresh and excited. It would be very easy to go and charge up this. But yeah, just if you're not going to be running up something like this at the end of the race, then definitely don't recommend running up it at the start of the race.
Right, yeah,
it's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
And you can't see the top. That's another thing too. You can't see the top of it, so that's another good rule of thumb.
Yeah, there is some reprieve in this hill. Like there is like some flat bits that maybe you could do a little jog on those flat bits.
Yep.
Again, it just depends on where you are in the field because it's so early on. So that's kind of like what that one looks like.
Yeah.
And then
that's just a couple of Ks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, 3 Ks in.
Yeah. Kind of like you basically get out of Tarawera, then run into the forest, and then you have a hill.
And it's the climb, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Next one is about 17 Ks in, and it starts off as a gradual up on sort of forestry road, and then it turns into like a single trail and goes through. And then you have some stairs, sort of steepish stair kind of stuff, and it goes into a part of the bush that locals call the natives, as it's sort of a native bush section, which has the pine, forest like wrapped around it. So that's a beautiful native bush section that you run through. But yeah, that's another sort of, what I would say, climb of significance in this first part of the course.
Yeah, and like when I did the 50K, like I can't remember, like I think I did hike up the first one, but I definitely walked up this hill in the 50K. So yeah, it's just too much energy. Like, and you can see if you look closely, like that's quite a steep little hill there. So it's a good place to like take on nutrition.
130 odd meters across that sort of, which isn't far, a couple of Ks there.
Yeah. Good place to talk to some fellow runners, and I remember like people were pretty chatty to me in this part of the race, so everyone's probably feeling pretty good. And then
next one of significance is that sort of 28 Ks in, you go around this section here first. This is a beautiful section here, the Mossy Loop section, one of my most favourite parts of the forest. It's just a beautiful loop that you do, and you'll get really nice views across Green Lake here, and some beautiful bush that you run through too. Yeah, really nice.
There is a slight uphill in this section as well.
Yeah, there's a decent little bit of a downhill as well.
Yeah.
A bit of a down and up, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On the whole, though, pretty
runnable.
Pretty good. Yeah. But once you pop out in that section, you come back onto Forestry Road here. Yeah, then you got the start of that climb. You'll pass through the aid station again, Rotukakahi Aid Station. You go through twice, once on your way to the loop and once afterwards.
And then we're going up.
Yeah, so how long is that climb? So it's 28.7. So you got sort of a few 2.5 to 3 k's, isn't it? Of net up, and a lot of it's all forestry road actually, isn't it? Yeah, it is all forestry road. You'll get some like flat runnable bits there, as part of it. But on the whole, it's a tricky one, this, because it's like there's no real steep bits. Some of it is like. It's like this, but long, and it's forestry road, so you can be lured into like pushing harder than you should be on that sort of stuff, because it is long. It's one of those awkward ones for that sort of front of mid-pack runner like myself. It's an awkward kind of thing. It's like, do I run, or do I try and run it easy?
Yeah, it would be
or
hard.
do I like just power hike it like a man on a mission, or do I walk run it? It is a funny little one, so just bear that in mind as you're going up.
Yeah, it's definitely one that you want to be paying attention to your heart rate. Hopefully
That's why heart rate is so good.
Yeah, hopefully you've done like heart rate training for your training of this, not just like pace training, because like you're gonna cook yourself if you stick to like a certain pace on this hill.
And then after, and then after this, climb, we start to get into that sort of 50k out and back section we talked about. You got and some nice downhill running after that. After that climb.
Oh yeah, that's quite a fun downhill.
Yeah, so you got some nice running there. Yeah. Cool. And then you got the 50k out and back, and then you come back and you hit the Tikitapu Blue Lake Aid Station.
Cool. This is quite a pumping aid station. Because all distances go here.
87.2 k's into the race.
Yes, and I think like around this time of the race, like even maybe prior to it, but maybe here because you might see some of your crew, your family, can get like quite emotional. Maybe this is the furthest you've ever ran your life. And like obviously you're probably a bit tired now,
but you're going to do it.
Yeah,
you're going to make it.
Yeah.
You're at this point. You're like, I'm going to do this. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's a big thing. Like, oh my gosh, I'm actually going to do this. All my hard work is going to pay off in like 17 k's. And so if you need to have a little well cry, I don't know if you'll be sobbing, but you could be welling up, and it might be actually like every time I've done this, which has been twice now, I've actually got a bit of a release from it, because it's like you've been working hard, like you've been mentally switched on, been thinking about it, and then it's just like a little valve that kind of needs to be released, and then you can kind of like just get back into the race with a new perspective again.
It's a nice another thing, like a nice mental reset as well, isn't it? And an emotional reset too.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to have a little tear.
So I've noted as well, actually, it's a bit of a niggly thing.
Oh, yeah?
Just thought of it then as you were talking. So you pop out of, remember we were talking about Tenet's track, you pop back out of Tenet's track and, hey look, you've got to run right around Blue Lake before you get to the aid station. So you, as you pop out of Tenet's track and before you cross Tarawera Road, you look over to your right and you can literally see the aid station there. It's like you can hear the buzz, the excitement of the aid station. You can hear, you can see it, but you've got 5 k's to run around Blue Lake. Okay, and it's an interesting 5 kilometers this around Blue Lake, because there's sections of it like this sort of section here where you like feel like you're right on the aid station, but you've still got like 2 k's to go as well. You remember that, like, you get that if you come to the Blue Lake 24-hour event in late September. You get shades of that in the event. You sort of feel like you're right on the start finish area, but you've still got a couple of Ks or a K and a half to go. So I think, mentally this is it's another little area of the course, just to be like, okay, like, stay in the moment. I've still got to go 5Ks to get to see my crew again, see my family and my loved ones, or like get that next drop bag. Like, so there's still, I think, definitely, like, stick to your processes around here, and left foot, right foot, keep fueling, keep doing your thing. There's still 5Ks to get around.
Actually, I just had a thought about what I was saying. Like, that might be where you do the crying, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I reckon there's just something around the 80K. And, like, obviously by the time you get to the aid station, it's like 87Ks. But, like, around the 80K, 75, 80Ks, like, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. The excitement, eh? You buzz off the excitement.
Yeah. So, yeah, Tikitapu, Blue Lake Aid Station, similar to Okataina that we were talking about earlier. You can have a drop bag, and your crew can a few more options on the aid station. Used to be pizza there. I don't know if they're still going to do that. Used to have Domino's on the ready at that aid station. Let's see if it happens again this year. It's an easy aid station for your crew to get to. They can drive there. No bus required. Crew can get there without a problem.
Yeah.
And by the time you're coming here on the 100K, it'll be easy for them to come.
Yeah, because a lot of the 50K would have come through, and like, yeah. So, and then it's nearly home time.
Yay!
Yeah, and then I think you do have just on the climbs. I think you have one more significant climb. Yeah,
which
is up
Tokaringi Pa, and that is 91.5 odd Ks through. So again, it's kind of, this looks like nothing on the profile map, but just because of it is a steep little pincher, and it is across a K and a half sort of thing. So it's a decent little pincher, and it's just because of where it is in the race, eh? You think you're done with the hills, but no, there's one little surprise one left in at the end there. So we hear a lot of people talk about Tokaringi Pa. So you get to the top of the hill, and you've sort of got that sort of 10 to 12 Ks to go until the end, and pretty special actually, by the time you get to this part of the race, because you know that you're coming up on the Redwoods Aid Station. You've got some nice downhill to come, and you're just getting close to town as well. Like, if you're running into the twilight, you're sort of seeing the lights of town. You're hearing vehicles, like just this kind of stuff. You're sort of it's like that feeling of getting closer to some civilization and things like that. And so interesting of note. Sort of you're 92 odd Ks at the top of that hill, so you've still got that sort of 11 to 12 Ks to go to close out the race. The Redwood Aid Station, 98 Ks. So that last sort of few Ks down to Redwood Aid Station, you got some nice gnarly downhill. Some of it's nice to run, but then you get to the stairs.
Oh yes, the deep.
Quite potentially, you're going to have some stairs there, depending on where the event shoots you down. I think they normally do put the stairs in there these days. You got some, really nice stairs to go down. And they're not the sort of stairs that are like nice and pleasant to run down. They're like the ones that are like deep and kind of high.
Yeah. They're like definitely like 2 legs on each stair.
So it's like a stride and a half. It's like that awkward kind of distance.
Hobbling down.
So go down a stride and a half per stair. And of course you're tired from the day.
Yes.
Then Redwood Aid Station, your crew can get to there. But I mean, the times that I've run the 100K and the miler at Tarawera, I think the only thing I've done at Redwoods really has been to just top up my bottle.
Yeah, it's kind of like you've got, some runnable stuff, so it's like you just need that sugar, really. I think it's just like get that, the gel if you have one, if you want it, or like the hydration, especially if it's hot day. Like, don't be afraid to keep, obviously keep fueling, even though you're finishing. in 7Ks, like it's important that you keep feeling as if you've got, you know, further to go, because if anything, it's going to help with your recovery. Like if you get to the finish line and you're absolutely like parched, and I'm not saying that like just because you did really well up until this point and then you did shit for the last 7Ks, it's going to be a write-off your recovery, but it definitely like going to help if you just keep racing. The race doesn't finish until the finish line, so keep up with your hydration and your nutrition for the last 7Ks.
Yeah, and save some energy in that tank if you can, you know, for that flat runnable stuff through Sulphur Point, and because you know 7Ks is 7Ks, and if you can be running well, running well for 7Ks versus like walking 7Ks is, you know.
Well, yeah, like walking 7Ks could take you an hour.
Yeah, so
at the least.
Yeah, longer even. So yeah. It is, you know,
40 minutes or an hour 10. You know,
we've got to go that 104Ks.
Yeah, close to 105, really, actually.
And then you're finished.
Woo!
Yes.
And then it's all done.
Cool.
You've had a good race.
So I think that's it for us for this, isn't it?
I think so.
I think we have covered everything for this distance. Shout us out for any questions. If you want to join our members only group to get more info about Tarawera, you can do. I'll put the link in the description of this video, how to join. And yeah, ask us any questions for future videos. That's about it, really, isn't it?
Cool. Been awesome doing this video, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Catch you on the next one, team.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.